Hi, this is an interview with Nandini Harinath, an eminent rocket scientist at the Indian Space Research Organization, also called ISRO. With over 29 years of experience, she has played pivotal roles in more than 25 satellite missions, including serving as the Deputy Operations Director for the Mars orbiter mission Mangalyaan, India's first interplanetary mission. Currently, she's the Deputy Director of the Spacecraft Operations Area at ISRO's Telemetry Tracking and Command Network, overseeing the tracking and control of all low Earth orbiting satellites and interplanetary missions. You can find our article on our website, 6degrees.blog, and our Instagram page, 6 Degrees Away. Thank you and enjoy the interview.
Okay, so thank you, all of you from 6 Degrees for talking to me. And yeah, so we are a family of four, and my father is a physician and a physicist. Sorry, and he went on to do engineering. My mother, a mathematician. So one very clear memory that I have of my childhood is that he would take us to the terrace quite often, and those days the sky was very clear, not so much pollution as it is now. And he would help us to identify all the stars. We knew where the pole star was. We could identify the different constellations, and we didn't have those apps those days, but he knew how to actually recognize the various the zodiac symbols in the sky. And that's was a very a sweet thing, and that's some one ritual that that's one memory that I remember very clearly from my childhood.
That's so sweet. And talking about your childhood, we did some research, and the second question is, how did watching Star Trek influence your decision to pursue a career in space exploration?
Oh, I think like Static was one of our most favorite serials. We didn't have too many options on TV those days, but but um, as a family, all of us would sit together and watch Star Trek. And I think the best part about Star Trek was, the fact that it would just let your imagination go, and especially the part where, wherein the captain or Mr. Spock would get into this cabin and say, energize, and the matter would convert to energy, and then they would be teleported to another planet or another asteroid or whatever. So that was kind of very exciting, and I believe many of these things that we have today. In some way evolved from science fiction. So while we were all excited about teleportation those times, and now we actually have this quantum teleportation, right? It is becoming a reality. And very soon, I think your generation will see a lot of it.
Yeah, that's it's cool, but it's also scary.
Right.
Okay, the next question is joining ISRO as your first job was a bold choice. What inspired you to take that step, and what were your initial experiences like at the organization?
Yeah, so ISRO was my first job, and I went to ISRO without any prior background of space technology. And most of what I know today is what I learned on the job, right? And back then, there weren't many women at ISRO. So that made that experience more unique and challenging sometimes.
Mhm.
And I started my journey in a division called Mission Planning and Analysis Division, wherein we worked on new missions. We were the designers of the orbit, and most of the subsystem requirements were generated by us. So I gradually built my expertise through hands-on work, but I must tell you, it has been totally satisfying.
That's so cool. What was it like to be a part of the Mars orbiter mission, especially as Deputy Operations Director?
So the Mars mission brought in a sense of excitement in the team. Everybody wanted to be on the project, and
Yeah.
there was always this suspense when a new project is announced, and everyone wants to get this opportunity to be a part of it. They were hoping to be selected, and because it's a very significant mission. It was our first interplanetary mission. So again, none of us had this background, or none of us had actually worked on an interplanetary mission before. And interplanetary mission is a totally different ball game from the regular satellite missions that we were doing. So there was a lot of learning, and it was starting from scratch to building the satellite, launching it, and then operating it. It was a long journey, but it was a great experience, and it was a great learning.
Wow. Out of your 20, you've worked over 20 satellite missions. Which of these projects has been either your most favorite or the most challenging? And how did you navigate these challenges?
Um, so the it's like choosing between your kids, right? It's hard to choose the favorite one. Each of them had their own challenges. Of course, the Mars orbiter mission gave us a lot of uh, mm, uh, uh, recognition around the world. So in terms of getting recognized, and in terms of rewards, I think that was one of the best missions. But I did a mission, much earlier, and very early in my career. It was called the spacecraft re-entry experiment, wherein ISRO was sending a satellite into space for the first time,
Mhm.
and we had to recover the satellite entirely intact after 13 days. It's kind of a precursor to the human space program, wherein we send humans, and then we had to bring them back safely.
Mhm.
So, and we were doing it for the first time, and unless even though you do a zillion simulations on the ground, but the experience of an on-orbit mission is totally different. So we had some very exciting and tense moments during that mission, but we were successful in the very first attempt.
Mhm.
So that will always be my most favorite mission, because that was the first time we were doing something very, very different, and we had succeeded in the very first attempt.
Wow, that's so cool. Okay, as a mission director for the RISA 2B series, what innovations or milestones are you most proud of?
Okay, so the reset to be had, technologically very advanced techniques in terms of imaging. It is our first high resolution radar imaging satellite. We're able to see objects that as small as centimeters, 30 centimeters up there from space. And again, it was the first time ISRO was doing such a mission, um, and the radar imaging satellites can image in both daytime and nighttime. So, unlike the cameras, the optical cameras, wherein you have to wait for good illumination conditions to take images, to take pictures, these satellites can take pictures day in and day out, 24/7,
Mhm.
and they can take very high resolution pictures from up there.
Mhm.
So, since it was again the first time um, we were having such a advanced satellite there, and the ground segment was equally important. Not just making the satellite, but running this entire chain of software and hardware on the ground to access this data from the satellite, to process it, and to, we call it as a turnaround time, to turn up the images quickly as we acquire them, was equally challenging. So, as a mission director, I was responsible not just for operating the satellite, but also the entire ground segment, wherein we had to process these images and present them as quickly as possible. So, so as a mission director, you take in the entire responsibility of operating the satellite and also the responsibility for the entire team.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Um, what leadership lessons did you learn while working on high stakes missions like Chandrayaan 3?
Yeah, I think the most important lesson as a leader that I've learned is to trust your team
Uh-huh.
and empower your team. And when we especially face challenges, you stay united and keep them motivated. I think that's the biggest quality a leader can have, is to keep the team motivated and to keep the team aligned to the mission goals. I think with that, any difficult challenge also would seem very easy.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a good lesson to learn and to teach other people as well. How do you think your work and achievements inspire young women and girls to pursue careers in STEM, particularly in space exploration as well?
Yeah, so this is a field wherein women are still in a minority, and I hope with stories like mine and other women who are working in this field, young girls shouldn't think that gender is ever a limitation. And when young girls especially see women in roles they aspire to be in, it helps them break the barriers, and then it inspires them to pursue their dreams. And especially when they see women in leadership roles,
Mhm.
I think it encourages the women to dream big.
Yeah.
And the more the stories that you tell about women who are in space, I think the more younger girls will feel empowered to embark on similar paths.
Mhm. Yeah. How do you see ISRO's role evolving in the future of space exploration, both for India and globally?
So ISRO's now recognized internationally as a one of the very important space agencies, and there are a lot of space agencies across the world who like to collaborate with ISRO. We are doing some big missions with NASA. In a couple of months from now, maybe April or June, you will see a joint mission by ISRO and NASA. It's called the NISAR. I worked on NISAR for a very long time, almost 11 years on this mission. So it's collaboration in a big way, wherein we will be operating the satellite together with NASA, and half the satellite is built by NASA, and other half of the satellite is built by ISRO. So we are also collaborating big time with JAXA. We're going to be doing a lunar mission with them. We have plenty of collaborations when in the ground segment too, wherein we cross operate each other's satellite. So I think the way forward for any space agency now is to survive with good collaboration with agencies across. It's going to be difficult to be doing big missions all alone.
Yeah. Um, with the success of interplanetary missions, what areas of research or exploration excite you the most?
Yeah, we've done the Mars mission and we've done the
Yeah.
Chandrayaan. Can't really call Chandrayaan as an interplanetary mission. But I think my area of work, mission design, flight dynamics, navigation, orbit determination, these are some things that excite me most. And um, the part that is exciting for uh, anyone, I think, is mission operations. Like, you operate a rover on a distant planet sitting here, or you operate a satellite which is millions of kilometers away, and even it takes minutes to for the signal to reach the satellite. So these are some things I think that are going to be very challenging and interesting in the future, and that's something that I really like to do.
It's so interesting and like inspiring to hear about them as well.
Thank
Um,
you.
okay, so the last two questions are questions that we ask all of our interviewees. And basically, the first one is, what is your definition of success itself, and how is it shaped your career and pushed it forward?
So success can mean different things to different people, depending on their goals and experiences. But I think navigating through the difficulties and coming out stronger, um, and learning valuable lessons along the way is one definition that I can think of. Mm, Success is more like climbing a mountain. We have a lot of trekkers in our family, right? So it's not just about reaching the top, but it's about enjoying the view that you see on the way. It's about the strength you gain all along when you trek. And it's about the immense satisfaction that you get when you reach the top.
Mhm.
So, and the last one I think is success is not about reaching the top all alone. Success is also about lifting others along the way.
Mhm. Yeah. And our next question goes off of that as well, like helping others. If you could give advice to either your younger self or other younger people of our generations to inspire them more, what would that advice be?
Yeah, so, one thing that I can say is that all questions do not have answers straight away.
Yeah.
So, whether it's an older person or a younger person, if you don't know the answer to something today, one shouldn't be worried at all. And um, another thing I'd probably tell myself and everyone is that be kind to yourself. I think all of us are doing much better than what we think we are doing,
Mhm.
right? And going into something a little more deeper, sounds cliche, but I think what is important is the ability that one should have to turn all the setbacks into comebacks.
Mhm.
So that's important. And well, um, it's okay to fail sometimes because, you know, uh, you will have spectacular stories to tell about later, if you fail today, when you succeed. And I think the most important thing is not to forget to enjoy the precious moments that come your way. Enjoy whatever you're doing most.
Wow. Thank you.